Guys, welcome to the channel. Welcome to Bolt from the Blue Tarot. You're here because you saw the lightning hitting the tower on the logo for this channel, and it did not scare you. You're still here. You might be a spiritual badass. Welcome to my tarot table. We read from all sorts of decks here, all sorts of divinatory tools, but today we actually have a couple of bona fide tarot decks. We're going to start with the Tarot of the Divine. Let's see what this has to say for you. Two of Cups. We have Gilgamesh and Enkidu on here. The oldest story in the Western canon of literature that we know of, that was written down. The Epic of Gilgamesh. All right, any more from here? Now let's get one or two more. Queen of Swords. I just noticed the heads on the spikes behind her. Damn, I don't know this story. Here we go. The Sun. Horus. Two of Cups. Queen of Swords. Sun. Right off the bat, guys, I'm just going to say being discerning about your relationships is going to lead you to success. That feels like the general energy. Do we need to read from the book for any of these? Yeah, okay, there's something from one of these stories for you. Yeah, okay. So this Queen of Swords is the part that I'm reading as discernment. And there's something from the story of the Queen of Swords that is relevant to you. Dear viewer, so this is Turandot from China. This is an Arabic folktale. The Queen of Swords is a fierce and exacting force. Turandot does not forget betrayal, so her judgments, while fair and principled, seem brutal and cold. Still, she is open-minded and intelligent, and can be charming and witty when she chooses. Protection, meaningful criticism, tough love, skepticism, and intelligence. So, do we also want from the Sun? Yeah, no, just this one. So, this card uses the word judgments, and it says skepticism, but I would class this kind of, what do they describe it as? Fair and principled. but that seem brutal and cold to others. When you're in the position of royalty, you might have to make judgment calls, but truly what this is, when it is fair and principled, is discernment, right? On a personal level, on a subjective level, we're talking about being fair and principled, like fair towards yourself and honoring your own principles and priorities. And that's not actually a judgment. A judgment is to, on a personal level, to say, you know, this is good, this is bad, to hierarchize these things, puts us in a state of resistance. But discernment is knowing what is good for us and feeling the personal agency, having the power to say no to the things that are not. So there's some sort of relationship that you're having to set some sort of fierce boundaries with, right? Fierce in terms of self-love, right? You ferociously love yourself. It's not that you're going around cutting off heads and sticking them on spikes. But, you know, if there are spikes, they're demarcating your boundaries very clearly and unapologetically. And this can seem brutal and cold to other people, especially if they're used to having more access to your energy. But with Horus here as the sun, and he's moving, like he's sailing his boat forwards out of this reading towards the future. And there's just this sense that it's not only leading to your personal success, but your setting of this boundary of, you know, I don't even know that it's completely cutting off one person. It could just be limiting their access to you and to your energy. This somehow, you know, it keeps the sun in the sky towards a brighter future. It moves not just your life forward, but it is for the highest good of all. Yeah. Okay. This deck. Great. We are moseying on to the Oracle of Destiny. This is a deck based on palmistry with some really bright and beautiful artwork, which, as you can tell from the rest of this reading, I dig. Mount of Venus. This has to be Spirit's favorite card from this deck. It has to be. I love this one. Mount of Venus. More? From the book? Yeah, let's see what the book has to say about the Mount of Venus, since we're not doing a spread. Okay, so this book is split up into aspects of the hand, since it's based on palmistry, and then the divinatory meaning of the card itself. But I'm just getting that we want to read aspect of the hand. So the Mount of Venus is the fleshy part of the palm that is located below the thumb. And it has highlighted in the book like this whole area here. Venus, the goddess of both carnal and spiritual love, inspires the forces contained in this place, a taste for the pleasures of life, from good food to sex and beautiful things. Lover of the god Mars and mother of Cupid, Venus tells us of the energy that we have at our disposal, which we should draw on to cope with life. The Mount of Venus protects our stamina, which is our ability to access the most important reserves of vital energy that exist: love. who's dependent upon your love energetically? I don't mean pets, I mean people. And I don't mean in a healthy, mutually beneficial, like, I give you my love freely from the overflow from my cup. You give me your love freely from the overflow from your cup. Neither of us strictly needs one another. We are both, self-possessed individuals who brighten each other's lives with our overflow. That's not the abundant kind of relationship of love that I'm talking about. I'm talking about someone who would feel like the sun had drifted away from them, were you to paddle your boat away. Someone who doesn't reciprocate the frequency of love that you give out. Yeah, I'm getting ringing in my ear for that one. So Venus, the goddess of both carnal and spiritual love, inspires the forces contained in this place. Pleasures of life, good food, sex, and beautiful things. Venus tells of the energy that we have at our disposal, which we should draw on to cope with life. Yeah, so there's a reminder here that you are not an unlimited well of energy as a human being. You can draw upon the nearly unlimited reservoirs of energy that surround us, tapping deep into the earth, drawing up her energy. However, you are not a battery to fuel someone else's life. You are a human being unto yourself, and you are a spiritual being with lessons to learn and missions to accomplish in this life, with a life of your own to live. And when you're working with a finite amount of this energy, really like sacral chakra energy, like creative life force energy, it's not selfish to say, my life force should sustain my life. I think that phrasing is important for someone. My life force, first and foremost, is given to me by God, if you like, by the universe, by spirit, by source, to sustain my life. And only from the overflow can others drink, and only, truly, those who are deserving of this energy. Yeah. You know, there's a reason why we pulled the Tarot of the Divine first here. Like, you hold a very sacred energy. And, you know, it took me a long time to realize there is a very real sense in which the divine, you know, our life force energy is sort of an allowance from the divine. And they really don't approve of us spending it on people who don't give back, especially the kind of spiritual energy that we hold. When we give that out to sustain another, especially someone who's asleep, you know, we're just pouring this nectar, this sweet juice of life down the drain, because it doesn't teach them. It doesn't teach them to brighten their own light, to sustain their own life force. It just teaches them that they can siphon it from others. consciously or subconsciously, right? Most people don't know that they're doing this. They don't realize that they've dimmed their light and that they now rely on the light of others. Okay. This one. Excellent. This is the Modern Witch Tarot. I think this is a yes. Let's see. The High Priestess. Look at you. The High Priestess. Beautiful. More. Just this one. Something particular from this book? Yeah, so this comes with a little guidebook. You've probably seen this deck being used on other channels. It's very close to the Smith weight in terms of the art, but it does come with a little guide, and it has a real sass to the description. So we're going to read this. The High Priestess. There are deep secrets and many mysteries in life. The High Priestess knows the path toward them. She sits on her throne with her laptop full of secret knowledge and wisdom, pensive but inviting. Behind her, a veil of pomegranates suggests the desire for answers is there. But we may not be ready to lift this veil of mysteries. The moon at her feet seeks to awaken our unconscious and opens up to the hidden things and the strangest parts of existing. Be still. Sometimes the greatest power comes in knowing that you do not know anything. You've come up against the truth that more self-knowledge is needed, and it's time to reflect in order to grow. Explore your subconscious through meditation, through tarot itself, through study. It's not time to make big decisions right now. Yeah, I got a big pulse of energy into the heart space when I read that final line. It's not time to make big decisions right now. There's a little bit of a sense here that I'm getting from the High Priestess of like, you could, but I have a bunch of information here on the hard drive of this laptop that you would be very interested in finding out. Were you to lift the pomegranate shower curtain? I hope they actually make a pomegranate shower curtain that looks like the background of the High Priestess card. That would be great. Most people have their best thoughts in the shower anyway. Guided thoughts, you know? Why not? It should have the pillars on both sides. If you make one of these, let me know. But yeah, there's someone might be tempted to just like paddle this boat away. Towards the shore and to get going, but there's something about like, you know, this card often represents to me like the wildness of the divine feminine, how it is one with nature, and how we can only hear the wisdom of the wild divine feminine of nature when we're quiet. I think it's significant that her face isn't turned, that we can only see her from behind. There's a quietness to this where even if she was facing us, she wouldn't speak. There's something about that preserving her life force, her creativity with the rabbit there, her fertility in terms of bringing through something divine. It's like any words she could come up with before wading into these deep waters would be premature. I don't know that this is what the High Priestess has to share with you is specific info so much as it is guidance, like methodologies, things to focus on, a general direction in which to go that doesn't necessarily, that logic wouldn't necessarily directly dictate. But that's what we do, right? The High Priestess knows that all problems are already solved. The Divine knows the quickest solution, and it's in tuning into it, which we can only do through her, through that energy of the High Priestess that is within all of us. In the receptive states, the subconscious states. It's only starting there that we can be guided towards that solution. I actually recently made a short playlist. I think it's only a couple videos at this point for the channel, but I think I'm going to start linking it in the description box. And it's just a playlist. I can't decide what to call it. I think solving problems magically, or yeah, I think it's probably going to be something like that. And I don't know, those may be of interest to you. Just the general philosophy that's brought across in those two videos, I think will really help someone here understanding the importance of getting into this energy. Yeah. Okay, we're ready for a bit more from the Modern Witch Tarot. Queen of Pentacles. Oh, hell yeah. That's the second rabbit that's coming out here. Little rabbit. Which, because of my friend who has the first version of this deck that I owned, I associate with intuition. This might be a little bit of a hint about what the High Priestess wants to show you. Okay, interesting. I don't think I've ever read from the book in this reading, but guided to do that again. So, Queen of Pentacles. I do like the description of the major arcanas, at least from this book. Queen of Cups, Swords, Pentacles. This queen is rich in more ways than one. She has a stable and simple life that she is filled with things, people, and activities that bring her joy. She is nurturing and generous, seeks to bring happiness and provide a sanctuary to those she loves. If you are the queen, it's time to be nurturing and caring. It could be as simple as taking some time to cook a meal for a good friend, or buying a cute plant for someone special. Be kind, it suits you. Yeah. And you know, with the energy earlier on in here, this is a very self-centered reading in the positive, in the affirmative, right? Of this is someone who My sense is you are someone who gives, and it is time to give to yourself. It's time to provide a sanctuary to yourself, right? A little bit of an oasis here. I'm just getting this image of like a child playing in a like a walled-in garden, you know what I mean? And not that they're hemmed in, but that they're safe. It's like this energy of the Queen of Swords sets the boundaries so that the child can play, follow its intuition, and be safe in like a verdant environment where there's only birdsong and sunshine and perhaps like the burbling of a fountain is what I'm getting. Not specifically that, obviously, but that's the energy of what you should treat yourself to. The secret garden, your secret garden, to be nurturing and caring towards yourself. Taking some time to cook a meal for a good friend, in which case, you know, in this case, that's you. Taking some time to cook a meal for yourself, what you want to eat. Or buying a cute plant for someone special. Again, yourself. Be kind to yourself because it suits you. You wear it well. And with the rabbit, again, just a little bit of follow your intuition towards those kind of things that will make you feel Queen of Pentacles energy, that will make you feel this grounded sense of self-nurturing. Yeah. One that feels like bare feet on cool grass. More from here? Yes, indeed. There's a very particular card that wants to come out for you. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a shuffle here. I think it's this one. 8 of Pentacles. Going from the book again. There can be no success without hard work. Whether you've got an important deadline, a project you've been procrastinating on, or you're looking to improve your situation, it's time to buckle down and get to it. It can feel like a slog, sure, but it'll definitely be worth all the time and energy. The proud feeling when you're finally done will be absolutely amazing. Promise. I think this is different for all of you. Please use your intuition here, because I see the rabbit. The rabbit's literally looking towards, you see this? Looking towards the 8 of Pentacles. So use your intuition here to tell you what this is. And don't necessarily take this energy too harshly. That whole like, roll up your sleeves now, Buster, like get to it. Take that with a grain of salt, because for some of you, this is just like a hobby that you enjoy, right? That you're maybe in a slump with. And for some of you for whom this is work or something very heavy, there's encouragement here to move through it in a guided way, to not be a taskmaster for this thing. Don't be a, this whole spread is filled with very quiet, self-contained women, and not in the like, speak when spoken to kind of like patriarchal way. I mean, in the way of like poise, in the way of silent power and receptivity to the divine, not to the ideas that other people have for you or for how you should go about something, but with an ear to the rhythms of nature and your own heart. So this hard work doesn't have to be hard. There's a little wink, a little nod with this rabbit here to say that if you move through this in a guided way, from that position of the high priestess, who has a much, she's the high priestess. She has a much higher view than you or I. She's got it all mapped out here in her laptop, right? Moving from that perspective, you can move through whatever, I don't even want to call it work. I mean, for some of you, it will be like your vocation, or how you make money. But there's a way in which when we do things the way that the divine has mapped out for us, the way that the high priestess can see the path through, it's not hard. Like, it just flows. And it doesn't mean that it's pleasant. I approached my taxes this way recently. It doesn't mean that it's what you're doing is fun necessarily, or like your highest excitement even, but it does mean that it gets done in the most natural way. And that is, to a degree, the most efficient way. It's not necessarily the fastest, it's not necessarily the most direct, but it is the most flowing, like a stream down the side of a mountain. It follows the path of the least resistance, and the feng shui is immaculate. All right, anything else from here? Here. Okay, yeah, I'm getting that. So I had some advice cards for the end, but I'm getting that I sort of summed it up with this approach. So go back and listen to that. If it sparks your interest, if it shimmers for you, check out the Solving Problems Magically playlist. I'll link that in all of the video descriptions from now on, along with the energy healings and clearings. Those aren't my videos, by the way. Those are just other creators on YouTube that I have found really insightful, useful, or energetically powerful. So yeah, check those out. And I think that you've got this. It's only like other people or other people's patternings and programmings that could stand in your way, because when it's just you, and the high priestess, like you and the divine, you and source, you and spirit, you're this unstoppable team, because you're not the Two of Cups. You're the Ace of Cups. You are the same cup. And you can't stop that. You can slow it down, but you can't stop it. All right, guys, if you're new here, do like, subscribe, comment if you feel inclined. I would love to hear your comments on this, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.